What is negative gravity? Well, it's just a concept I developed, or I came up with. First of all, to make a comparison, the Earth itself is the gravity of Earth or G-forces, means equivalent to the Earth's gravity. So let's say the Earth is, just by guessing, I'm not sure what. Let's say the Earth is either not zero, but 1 G-force. So I think that might be considered Earth's gravity. So if you go G-force 2, G-force 3, G-force 4, and so on, that means that's higher gravity than what Earth is. Let's say, so how do you get G-forces? Well, centrifugal force or faster travel. Let's say fighter pilots, I think they go G-force 6 maybe, and they have to wear these special pants that squeeze their legs to push the blood toward their heart. So that's because they're going faster, and they create G-forces on the body. So the body, in their cellular level or molecular level, their bodies gets heavier the faster you go, and you can get the same effect through G-forces, centrifugal force. So if you spin faster, you get more G-force, and basically what it is higher gravity than what Earth is. So that's the gravity of Earth, and plus more if you do a higher G-forces. But in space, you have what we call zero gravity. So basically, zero gravity means you could push something and it'll keep on going forever, right? So it's momentum, but you know, just a slight push, it'll just move forward and it'll keep the same momentum. That's a zero gravity. So you ask yourself, what is negative gravity? To me, and this is my concept, negative gravity it's in the center of the Earth. Okay, in the center of the Earth where there's no up. In other words, every direction is up. So if you push an object in the center of Earth, let's say you push an object in the center of Earth, the object's going to go slightly up, but it'll come back down because there's no momentum. So in other words, everywhere, every direction is up. So if you push up a little bit, it'll always come back down to the center. So anything you push will always return to its place. So in other words, if you slight push, it'll go slightly, just a tiny bit forward, and then it'll come back down, because it will always fall down back to the center, because every direction is up, and it always comes back to the center. So basically, you won't go beyond that. So also negative gravity allows, in theory, time travel. That's why they always say, oh yeah, if you drive a spacecraft in the center of the Earth, you go through one place to another dimension or travel a different place. That's only theory, but that's because you got negative gravity. Well, how's that possible? Well, let me explain it to you real quick. See, we as humans, we travel within our own bodies forward in time. Some people do it in different time frames or different time speeds. For instance, let's an example. If two folks, twins, identical twins, they each live in a different place. Let's say one lives in the sea level, and the other lives at the mountain. Well, the one that lives in the mountain, because the mountain is heavier, and because it's so heavier that the one living in the mountain, time goes faster. And the one at the sea level, because it's less gravity or less weight, the time slows down. So in both cases, in both cases the time is not the same. So in a sense, the one in the mountains is time traveling a little bit faster than the one in the sea level. You could acquire the same effect by G-forces. See, by spinning centrifugal force, or by either that or a fighter pilot going at a higher speed. In both cases, you acquire G-forces higher than what Earth is. So basically, in your molecular level and in your cellular level, you gain weight as long as you maintain that G-force. So in other words, if you're in Earth's gravity and you're 100 pounds, that's 100 pounds. But if you go higher G-forces, that 100 pounds can easily turn into 200 pounds by adding extra G-forces to your body. So just by the centrifugal force or by going faster, you become heavier. The heavier you get in your cellular and molecular level, then in a sense your time is moving faster. So in a sense, G-force is more or less like a time machine, because it adds weight to your body. And same with the mountain. The heavier, the more heavier, the more gravity, the faster time flows. So if a person has a higher G-force gravity, will actually move faster in time within their own body than the one who's regular G-force. So that's just the way it is. That's the fact. So in other words, a centrifugal spin that adds G-force is basically a time machine within your own body. In other words, your time will move faster if you acquire higher G-forces, and that's the way it is. So it is in a form of a time machine. The G-forces are considered a form of traveling through time within your own lifespan, within your own body, and people don't realize we do that every day. That's a fact. Now, so in other words, if you add gravity to your body and your body gets heavier, and your molecular level and your cellular level, and you get heavier, you move faster in time within your own lifespan, within your own body. Now, how can we go the opposite direction and move back in time within your own body? People might think it's not possible, but hey, it is. But if you can move forward, why not backwards, right? Well, the only way to do that is instead of having gravity where time moves faster, why don't we have not zero gravity, but the opposite, negative gravity? And the only way you can get negative gravity is in the center of the Earth, where everything's up and everything comes back to the center. That's, to me, that's center. That's a negative gravity, and that would actually allow you to travel back in time within your own body. It sounds crazy, but if you can travel forward within your own body, why can't you use it to go back? It's just common sense. You go forward, why not backwards, right? Well, you can, but that's the only way you can get negative gravity. Unless the other concept, you could do that. So you need a negative gravity for either a wormhole or to travel within your own lifespan. In other words, you could go back in time within your own life, within your own body, because you already do it every day going forward in time. Not everybody in this world travels at the same speed of time. Everybody travels a different speed of time within their own body, with their own lifespan. So, like the example I told you, the twins, one living in the mountain and one living in the sea level. One, which is the one in the mountain, travels faster in time. Their time goes faster than the one at sea level. So if they could actually travel in time within their own body, which they do, going forward, why not backwards? But for that, you need something less than gravity, because gravity makes you go faster. So if you take gravity away, and not just zero gravity like in space, but negative gravity, which is the one in the center of the Earth, because everything's up and everything always returns back to the center, then you will actually travel backwards within your own lifespan. But if you do that in the center of the Earth, actually in theory it would be a wormhole too. So it's just a concept. But interestingly enough, that's my hypothesis, my belief. without the heat of the center of the earth. You don't want to be burned either. So you want to get negative gravity without the actual heat. So there you go, folks. Pretty interesting concept.